then there can be issues of the mindset that come into play. So, oh, I'm not supposed to talk to these people. Oh, I'm only supposed to talk to HR. But we have a lot of these beliefs. Oh, I'm not able, or I'm not prepared, or I'm not good enough. And we have a lot of these beliefs that can be operating in the background that we don't really know about until they come to light in some way. So it's always with the mindset stuff. It's always, we have the thinking, which translates into thought, which translates into action. And it's really just kind of moving through different, a different level of frequency or a different level of energy. Basically, these impulses or these mindset issues can have a state of being thought, a state of being speech, a state of being action, or the absence of action. The way we solve for that is we say, you know what, you can have those thoughts, but let's just focus on the numbers. How many networking calls are you setting up? And if the number is 0, let's move that from 0 to 1. And if the number is 1, let's move it from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. And what we start to find is that as long as we can, like our emotions are gonna, in the job hunt, the emotions can be really tricky and they can push us around and we can get pushed around by them. A simple example would be you have an interview and you're so excited and and this has happened to me so many times where I have an interview coming up, I'm really excited, and then I stop my networking because I think, oh, this next interview, that's gonna be the one. And I don't have to job hunt anymore. And then I stop my job hunt, just prepare for that one interview. And what do you know? Things don't work out. And then I feel like I'm starting over. And it's kind of like a roller coaster effect. So the thing to do is to give your emotions and your thinking a healthy distance between you and those thoughts. You can have them. In a way, it's thoughts and ideas that really aren't your own to begin with. We've heard about them. Like typically for international students, for example, it's common that you hear that it's hard for international students to get interviews and offers with firms. And then what happens then is that, well, your level of activity tends to stay low. You tend to not reach out to certain firms that you would like to reach out to. And you know what? Some of those firms will never sponsor, and maybe there are some hard truths to certain companies, but wouldn't it be nicer if you had conversations with those firms and with those people and got to know them and they got to know you? And you advanced your understanding of how that industry worked. You got better at networking. You can see how, on one hand, not getting too fixed on the idea that it's hard for international students, staying open to the idea that it's possible, can propel you to take actions. And you may not be at the beginning of your job hunt ready to jump into Goldman Sachs or jump into McKinsey. There is a learning curve. So to demand of ourselves that right now we should already be ready for that, and oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. That's not being fair to yourself or honoring the process of the job hunt, honoring the learning curve that's presented to you at this time. So we should look at that job hunt as really a gift and look at these difficulties that we're having as really gifts that we've been given, opportunities to hone our skills. It really is the setting up of calls and the getting on calls that changes our job hunt prospects. It makes us become successful, even if the initial conditions were that we weren't prepared or we weren't ready. So we want to work at this caliber of firm, which has a certain accepted way of dressing, communication, confidence in our communications, poise, ease, relaxation. And then we're here somewhere, kind of maybe nervous, maybe we don't have the right outfit purchased yet, maybe we've never adopted some of the professional language that's used, So to talk about, for example, marketing, to say I do marketing, or I help, I can be really general about my marketing, or I can really be able to bring out and talk about the metrics of my marketing. Like, we're typically generating this kind of engagement rate, and we're using the technical language of the industry. Well, if I'm going from not knowing that technical language to knowing it, to knowing who to talk to talking to them in a better way each time, soon enough, I'm operating at a level where I'm going to get an offer at that caliber. Our position is either we feel like it's possible or not. We feel like jobs are abundant or we don't. And again, that's a mindset thing. So it folds into the focus as well. If I don't feel like I can accomplish something, then I'm maybe not going to be implementing the method. And one of the best solutions that I've heard about is to just focus on the numbers. So really approach this like a scientist. Am I getting on calls with people or not? And I think that the number that matters the most here is not the number of applications that we've sent. It's more like the number of conversations that we're having with people. So we can be doing desktop research, we can be measuring the hours of the day that we're spending on the job hunt. But probably the most important metric is, are we having the number of conversations that we need to have? So you can take a look at your calendar. You can look out on the calendar, and without any judgment of your own calendar, just take a look. Hey, how many conversations do I have set up for the next week? How many conversations do I have set up for the next month? And say, if numbers are important, I might be feeling this certain way about the job hunt, but let's step a couple of feet back from the way I'm feeling about this and think, okay, as a scientist, look at the numbers. How can I get more numbers? How can I get more calls if I'm not having them? Or if I'm having a lot of calls, maybe it's been a lot with junior people, and now I need to make that shift to speaking with the senior people. And so the quantity is there, but now I want to come in with a different quality, and I want to develop the ability to get warm referrals to people. So it's not always about calling up a stranger and getting them on a call and doing that with the next person and the next person, because we're getting on calls with the senior people in these organizations, and we're getting them to introduce us to other people, not necessarily using the word refer, because that can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. It can feel really heavy when we use that. But when we talk about introductions, who else should I talk to, right? This is where those nuances of the English language make a big difference. And that is that level of professionalism that we are aspiring to, is that sensitivity to different uses of the language here. And with a little practice, you pick it up and internalize it. And that's the great thing about the job hunt.